All right, so I finished my knife, and in this video, I'm just gonna go over some of the dimensions and some of the design choices I made. So this is basically the knife that time forgot. So in one of the videos I put up, I had that in the title, and kind of cheesy, but it kind of sums up what I wanted to make, and hopefully I was able to make it. I'm gonna test it, and I'll put up videos on that too. So I wanted to make a corrosion proof knife, and the way I did that was I chose corrosion proof materials. So for a steel blade, I chose Vanax, which is they make it corrosion proof. I'm not a metallurgist, but they make it corrosion proof by using nitrogen to harden it, from what I understand. And if you know anything about like H1, if you ever heard of H1 steel or LC200N steel, all these are in the same category, same kind of family. But Vanax in comparison to those is it's more wear resistant, and it's supposed to be the toughest. It's supposed to be tougher than any other stainless steel. So that's what it's supposed to be. So we'll see. I'm gonna do cut tests, just random cut tests. I'm not gonna do like a torture test on or anything like that. But that's later on. So the other materials I use for the handguard, it's titanium, and then for the pins, it's also titanium. I used it's an 1/8 inch plate for the handguard and 2mm pins for the pins, and the scales are just G10. So G10 is basically it's epoxy and fiberglass. So that in itself is also corrosion resistant. Corrosion proof. Other than that, it's dimensions wise, it's a 9-inch blade, and it's 2 inches wide, and it's 0.098 inches thick. The handle is from here is 4.5 inches, and it's a little bit less. It's about 1 inch here, but it tapers to less than an inch up here in the front. So for the grind, I chose to make to make it a convex edge, just because it's tough, and then it cuts well too. And then also, one of the things I did for this knife that I don't do for other knives, that I haven't done for any other knife, is once I got it back from heat treating, and it's 60 Rockwell hardness, the steel, it's heat treated to 60 Rockwell hardness. Once I got it back, I profiled the knife by hand, basically. So I just used sandpaper, and I went from 200 grit to like 400 something grit, and then higher, which took me like, I think it was like 8 hours to do, which is kind of insane. But what I got for that is kind of peace of mind, I guess, because when you use a machine, what I used to do before, well, what I do normally is I'll take a grinder, I'll grind it down to almost an apex, and then right in the last part, I'll hand grind the rest. So through the whole process, I dunk it in water. I constantly put water on it, just to get heat away from the knife. So I'm trying to keep, once I get it back from heat treating, I'm trying to keep that heat treatment like perfect, exactly as how I got it. But besides all that, even though I take all the precautions, it doesn't beat, and that's why I want to try it. It doesn't beat just doing it by hand right from the get-go. So I wouldn't be able to do it for every steel. I mean, there's some crazy steels out there that are way higher in Rockwell hardness than this. So I wouldn't be able to do it for all steels, but I was able to do it for this. I knew I could, so I decided to try it. And then also, for me at least, any reprofiling I've done, or anything I've ground down by hand, has come out as a convex edge. So I knew right from the get-go I was going to basically make a convex. I wanted to. So, and I knew hand grinding would give me a convex edge. So I just decided to do it too, for that reason also. In blade shape, this looks really nice to me, but it's also functional in the sense that it helps the blade taper down to less than an inch in a gradual way rather than just very like dramatic or drastic. So when you go from 2 inches down to less than 1 inch, you don't want to just like a 90-degree angle. I mean, if it's a kitchen blade, then you kind of have to, but you don't want that because it puts a lot of stress on the reduction on that 90-degree angle. So it gives you a bigger chance of it snapping there. You also, when you grind too, that's the other thing. If you do a straight line from one end to the other, you're making a line where it's easier to snap too. That's another thing also. So what I did was this little thing here, and then it's 1/8 of an inch wider on both sides than it is on the handle, and that's just to keep the handguard there, so it has some place to go up against. And then if you see underneath, you can't see the handguard. The top is a 90 degree angle on both sides of the spine right here on this little portion from here to here. And that I did just so I can scrape stuff if I want to, shave things with the 90-degree angle. A ferro rod if I wanted to, but I never use a ferro rod unless it's like just for the hell of it. I rounded the top mostly just for feel. Like if you decided to do anything with both hands, if you want to put more pressure on top, it just feels nice. But what I didn't do was I didn't round it out all the way to the tip because you don't want a thin tip. This is like a crazy pointy tip, but trying to get the light to hit it. But see, you can kind of see the corners. I just rounded out the corners just a little bit compared to the rest, which is like really round. If I would have rounded out completely, it would have less material. It would just be like a much thinner tip, making it a little bit more fragile. Other than that too, if you look at the handguard, it's lower than the blade, so you can still use it on flat surfaces to cut stuff. Even if you hold this, completely in your hand, and you do that, you can still touch a flat surface, and your knuckles do touch, but you can get it to touch the surface too. So I was gonna reduce this down more to give this, because it's about 1/8 of an inch too, I think, in difference. So I was gonna reduce this down a little bit more, but I do like how this feels. Like, let's say if I do this, it feels like a sub hilt. So part of the reason I didn't reduce it down more than that is because, like, let's say you want more pressure in this area. If you do this, you get a nice feel to it. It's nice and comfortable, and you can put your thumb back here and just cut with this area here. Put a lot more pressure behind it if you wanted to. This little area here is rounded too, just for comfort wise also. And then this back part sticks out more than this front part, and that's just kind of aesthetics. It didn't have to stick out that much, but if you have something that looks the same on both sides, to me at least, it's I don't know. I like things that are kind of asymmetrical. It just looks nicer. For the handle, so it's a coffin shaped handle, and you can see the different layering of G10 and fiberglass actually. So I never used G10 before this, but you can see all the layers. And I was able to get so I ground this by hand too. I was able to get it almost similar. So if you take a look at this little flat surface here, and this right here, kind of close. And then also this little flat surface. So these are the only flat surfaces are in the end, and the reason is because I wanted to keep it it's a coffin shaped handle, so I wanted to keep the sharper corners. They're not sharp, but sharper than the rest, so that it still looks like a coffin. If I rounded those out, it would I think it would mess with the design in that sense. So if you look at the flat surface, pretty kind of symmetrical. You don't want asymmetrical on handles. That doesn't look all that great. So I got it down pretty good, I think. Everything else is it's rounded, and it does have a palm swell. And then for this, my hands. The reason my hands are dirty is I got done working on this not too long ago. So, I've been going for thinner handles. So this last two knives I made are thinner handles, and for some reason it feels nice. I mean I don't know. I'm perfectly happy with the other handles I have, but they're a little bit thicker, and they're fine too. But I think well the main reason I decided to go for a thinner handle is because a thick handle on a thin stock knife, I think would look like pretty weird. So the thickest part is the end, and it keeps your hand in place. Doesn't let it slip out, basically. Other than that, the pins, the reason I did it this way was because since it is a coffin handle, is I decided to choose pins that I wanted to make it look like nails on a coffin. So I don't know if I actually got that. I don't think it came to mind for anybody who's probably watching this video, but if it did, you're a beautiful person. Cause after I looked at it, I'm like, it kind of looks like that. Kind of looks like nails on a coffin, but who knows? So let's see. That's pretty much it. So for last, I guess I'll just cut paper just to show you. And I just made a sheath, so it should be fine. That should be fine, but hopefully it doesn't have any gunk or anything like that. Yeah, so it's fine. Yeah. So I am going to do a cut test later on. And then the tip is insane, though. There we go. Yeah, see. So the tip is insane. But so I'll do a cut test just like with bottles and stuff and see what happens. But hope you like the video. If you have any questions, let me know too. If anything I didn't cover. All right. Bye.